Welcome to Business Notes. I'm your host, Diane Bogino, President of Performance Strategies and Diane Bogino Development. Our guest today is Donna Lang. As a business growth strategist and mentor, Donna Lang helps small business owners in service-based sectors such as lawyers, CPAs, HR solutions, IT firms, and digital marketers grow wildly profitable businesses with custom designed marketing success plans that match her clients perfectly so they stand out in a crowded marketplace and make their mark. She leads mastermind programs, workshops, and private and group coaching programs. Additionally, she leads VIP weekends that are specifically designed for hyper-growth-driven business owners. Smart Tools coaching process helps clients in 4 ways: business coaching to grow the company, mindset coaching to grow the person or team, strategies to grow market share, and tools to streamline and automate processes. Donna, thank you for being on the show today. It's good to see you.
Oh, it's good to see you. I'm delighted. Thanks for inviting me.
Good. Donna, you have had an interesting career journey, so I'd like for you to describe that to our viewers.
Absolutely. I am what I would call a curiosity engine. I'm curious about everything. And so after a number of years in corporate sales and also being told how out of the box I was, I decided to leave corporate sales and journey into my own world. And so for the first 3 to 4 years, I was taking on sales, consulting engagements, and social media training and all of that. And that evolved into a business growth strategist. Because what I found out when I looked at small business owners, and that's my target, a lot of them were not staying in their lane, and they were repurposing their zones of genius because every 6 months, if it didn't work, they would change it out again. And I thought, my zone of genius, my gift, is to cut through all of that and create success roadmaps. Because when you're in your lane and you have a plan, all the distractions and all the shiny objects take a backseat. And that's what I do for clients, and that's who I am in life. I really love to grow people's and help them grow their zone of genius. In fact, I'm a quote person, so you might hear a few quotes along the way. And I really believe great leaders grow great leaders. They really see the spark. It's almost like Michelangelo. Michelangelo could see the angel embedded in the rock. And I can see the zones of genius embedded in you. And that is how I help people grow and really make a difference in their business.
Right. Boy, business owners need angels like you for sure. What is it about business growth strategy that sets you on fire?
Oh, that is the best question. The thing about business growth strategy and success roadmaps that sets me on fire is it really gives you a chance to run the race you're meant to run. And I'll say that again. It gives you the opportunity and the chance to run the race you are meant to run. Why be like somebody else? And so when I look out there in the universe of small business owners and entrepreneurs, although I do have a map, and I'll explain that in a moment, it's the kind of map that addresses 2 important elements. One is compatibility in business, and the other one is chemistry. So when you've got compatibility and you've got chemistry, you've got relationship capital. And those are the relationships that stand the test of time. So the point I want to make, the overarching point here, is a lot of folks depend on social media. If I'm out there and I'm speaking and I'm doing all kinds of things, people will notice me. Well, yes, and there's more to it than that. The thing that sets me on fire is to be highly targeted. When you're highly targeted, that's when you are standing in front of the folks that are looking for you. So that's when you're putting your podcast in front of folks that have hired you in the past and other similar industries and other similar leaders who want to know about you and they don't know about you yet. versus what is more typical. It's called the spray and pray model. Let's just spray it out there and pray to God someone finds us. And so I'm very, very strategic. And I'll give you a model. Maybe some of the viewers can look at this. It's called the bubble chart. So when you identify clearly who your target audience is, that's when the fun begins, because that's called leverage. So I'll use myself as an example, kind of walk through this with me if you would as we go through it. My target audience, they're all well-funded startups all the way up to 45 million in revenue. They're small, sometimes known as micro businesses. And what's really cool about them is often they're working on and in the business. So they definitely need my help, because I can go in there and really help them work a business that's successful from the inside out, know when to hold them, know when to fold them. In other words, know what to delegate, and know where to use your zones of genius to generate sustainable, profitable, predictable revenue. Those are the challenges that business owners have. So if you've got a strategy, a success roadmap, and you understand your target audience, then you ask where do they live? What do they consume? Where are they in terms of associations? Maybe I can get to speak in front of them. Maybe I can find a couple of influencers that I could partner with. I could help them. They could help me. Collaboration. You know, all that well-defined, all those data points that are well-defined can lead to other opportunities. So imagine you are in the center, Diane, of a bubble chart. And you're thinking, ooh, who do I want to surround myself with on this bubble chart? Well, maybe you work with I'm going to make this up. Maybe you work with lawyers, and maybe you work with CPAs, and maybe you work with business coaches and presentation skills coaches and other leadership coaches. Once that's well defined, then you can ask the question, are we compatible? In other words, do we share the same values? Do we serve clients in a way that kind of, you know, even though we're different, that really embraces processes and approaches that will kind of match mine, right? So you ask yourself that question, but do we do it a little differently? So if you and your folks in the bubble chart we're creating, serve the same audience, but they do it in a complementary way, then what you have is you've created referral sources and potential clients of yours, and you're a potential client of them. In other words, you're all speaking the same language. You're compatible. You've got the compatibility. Now let's look at the chemistry. Let's face it, we're not for everybody. Not everyone is our cup of tea. But if you have the ability to say, I really like Diane, you know, let's see how we can, you know, work this relationship out so it's a win-win, then you've got the compatibility and you've got the chemistry. That equals relationship capital that stands the test of time. So when I look at my 80-20 rule, or the 80-20 rule, and I assess my business, 80% of my results have come from my referral sources. I'm a big referral source advocate. Yes, speaking, yes, podcasts, yes, social media. You don't want to leave those on the table. But I think it's important to figure out where your focus is and where you've gotten the best results. And for me, referral sources are so vital to keep my business thriving, growing, and impactful. It's not a quantity thing. It's a quality thing.
Absolutely. Some interesting points about collaboration and delegation, which is always difficult, I think, for small business owners. But what is it that you think sets your business model apart?
Oh, that is a great question. What sets my business model apart is really several things. One is everyone is so different. And I really get myself out of the way when I coach folks. I noticed a trend out there. A lot of great coaches who I respect will say, well, I did this and I did that, and you can too, and it's going to work for you. And that can be a great asset in many examples, but it doesn't ring true for me. What I like to do is get myself out of the way. Look, there's only one of you. There's only one of me. I, for example, I'm an extrovert with a little extra sauce on top. I am out there, put me in front of people. I love it. I'm really comfortable doing podcasts and presentations and all of that. It really feeds my soul. But I wouldn't, for me to expect an introvert or someone who doesn't like it or someone who can showcase their zone of genius in a different way and make a difference in a different way. Well, that's the important thing. What sets me apart is I meet you where you're at. And that is the Smart Tools coaching difference. It's all custom. In my high-end coaching programs, I put you through 5 specific, and I have quite a few assessments, but I usually gravitate toward my top 5. Again, they're all custom. I have 2 people coming on board. They work together, and one is going to have a different set of assessments because that is needed as part of the coaching process, right? And so I look at their data points. I look at their what I call their client profile, and I can coach into that. And that is a remarkable difference because people tell me, and they've told me for years, Donna, you really get me. Like, you really get me. My wife doesn't get me. My husband doesn't get me, but you really get me. And what's really great about my model, and most coaches I might say, is that, we're not your best friend. We're not your boss. We're not your partner. We are a cheerleader, really. We're really cheering you on, and we're also inviting you to look at the stopping points where you kind of get stuck and to move through them and past them and step into your power. Like, our job, or my job, is to shine the light on you. And when that happens, things occur in the way of momentum, leverage, insight, and success. Then you're creating a company where you're truly the master of your domain. I think that was something said on the Seinfeld show, but you are truly in charge of your destiny because now you understand what needs to happen. And along the way, we create something called grit. In fact, the other day, one of my new clients said, so, I want to hire you, Donna, but what do you look for in your clients? I thought that was a great question. And I said, if you've got grit, then you're a perfect fit. Grit is really, it's 4 items: the guts that you need to push past all the stutter steps along the way that occur in business. The initiative, the ability to really think outside the box, take the initiative, look at things through a different lens, right? And then you've got the tenacity to keep on going, grit. And I think I forgot one of the letters, grit. So, it's resilience.
Resilience, yes.
Guts, resilience, initiative, tenacity. Yes. We can spell this morning. Anyway. and the resilience is really powerful because, as Dr. Martin Seligman stated, and he is of course, the pioneer, he's the father of positive psychology. The resilience is really the big one. It's the thing, it's like the rubber band. When you fall down, you keep on going and you ask, what can I do differently? How can I do it better? And how can I have the greatest impact? You get yourself out of the way and you keep on looking forward. Grit is really vital in business.
Yeah, I agree with that. Donna, tell our viewers, how do you work with your clients?
Well, it starts with a conversation, and I am very fortunate in that I'm intuitive. When people are talking, I hear what's not being said sometimes, very often, and I can address that. And I really I'm looking for the gaps, and I'm asking myself, am I the right coach for them? And are they the right client for me? And if the answer is yes, then I can lead them in the right direction, because some would be perfect for my mastermind programs that I facilitate. And that's really peer advisory, it's training, it's support, it's strategic networking. It's a lot of the elements rolled up in one, which is why I call it Mastermind with a twist. I handpick folks that complement one another, serve the same audience, are compatible with the chemistry. And that, when you get all those folks together, it's like a high school reunion every time we get together. It's magical, because vulnerability, as Brene Brown says, is power. So in my masterminds, if I feel that they're vulnerable, they want to really let their hair down in a group, that would be ideal. There's tremendous growth that happens in the form of collaboration, right? But then some folks really need a lot more of what I call the concierge. My high-end coaching programs are certainly priced differently, and I become their concierge. We have SOS calls, we have standard meetings that are set up every month. But before we launch that, we do a full VIP, in-depth analysis with an intake form and different assessments, so I can really meet them where they're at before we even start the official coaching. We do a kickoff session and target the goals for the next 6 to 12 months. And then from there, it's all custom. It's all about you. It's not making you me. It's growing the best parts of you and meeting you where you're at. So those would be the high-end coaching programs. And then I also offer workshops and training. And I am launching something new in 2021. It's called the VIP Weekend. It's for folks that might not want to be in a mastermind. They might not want to be in a high-end coaching one-on-one engagement with me, but they might want to be in a group where together I help them clearly define their success roadmap. So we do that for 2 days, and then a lot of engagement. And then at the end of 2 days, they've got their success roadmap, better known as a marketing action plan. And then I coach them to make sure they can implement it properly over the next 3 months. So that's the VIP Weekend package. And I'm a believer. Here's another quote. You're ready for this. I'm really a believer of flying the plane while it's being built, because then you're moving forward. You're not going for perfection. You're going for impact. And I've been doing that ever since I started my business. There's a need out there. Okay, let's do it. During COVID, I created Business Builders Exchange. It's a by invitation only networking group based on my bubble chart model of my target audience. Is there chemistry? Is there compatibility? Do we serve the same clients differently, right? But they're the same clients. So I just launched that, and that's taken off because I was flying the plane while it's being built, and I've been massaging it, and it's really growing very, very nicely. I'll be doing an official launch where people invest in joining it. Right now it's free, but I'll be rolling it out officially in January 2021. So those are examples of, it never would have happened unless I gave myself permission to fly that plane while it's being built.
Great idea. And you heard it here first, folks. So we're going to be looking forward to that, Donna. That sounds like really exciting. So tell us, what do your clients say about the results that you deliver for them?
Absolutely. Results come in different sizes and shapes. Most people hire me so they can grow profitable businesses with predictable and sustainable income, and revenue. And I've got a track record for doing that. And here's the big wins: more confidence, a better understanding of the pricing that works, a clearer understanding of their target audience, how to do time blocking so they can leverage their time, and in addition to being appreciative about a greater return on their investment, I invite them to look at a greater return on their time, the ROT, return on time. So it really expands them in ways that they never would have considered. It's about revenue and predictability and profitability, yes, because you want to stay in business and you want to grow. But it's really looking at 4 items. So when I take someone on board, I look at providing business coaching to grow the business, right? Mindset coaching to grow the person and the team. Strategies to help you stand out and grab greater market share, and tools that'll streamline and automate your processes. Smart strategies, tools to streamline, and coaching to put it all together. And that's how smart tools coaching makes the most sense.
Right. You did mention about the time saving. I think I saw on your website where you can save somebody 10 hours. Is that what I saw?
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
So
yeah, 10 hours a week, depending on what they're doing and how willing, I'm going to underline that, willing they are to implement the time blocking strategies.
Right. That's the key, right? You actually have to do it.
Yeah, but once you do it, life changes and then you want more of it.
True,
right?
True. I'm going to ask you one final question, but before I do that, I did see a couple of places on your website where you mentioned comedy or humor. Why is that important? Obviously, you have a good sense of humor, but why do you think that's important?
That's such a great question. I grew up with it. My dad was hilarious. And when I worked for Coca-Cola, when I was in sales, Coca-Cola was one of my clients. I did not work for them, but I worked with them. And one of the contacts was in a very creative marketing group, and they coined the term kid-adult, a combination of kid and adult. And I was all over it because I realized, we are still really kids at heart. And as adults, we grow up and we've got to be serious and all of that and responsible. And I agree with all of that. We do need to be responsible. But you don't have to be so gosh darn serious. You can actually have fun in life. And so my mission as a coach, as a business growth strategist, as a facilitator, speaker, and leader, is to combine education with entertainment, which is my idea of fun, as I help you elevate yourself and your business, to educate, elevate, and entertain while I'm inspiring the right kind of actions in your business. That's really my mission. And I'll tell you what underscores that. Your question is great. I'm naturally playful. I've got a childlike enthusiasm I cannot put a lid on very often. And I notice a lot of adults have kind of lost that. And I don't ever want to lose that. So having a sense of humor is great for you emotionally. It's great for you hormonally. It challenges cortisol, which is a very anxiety and stress driven result. Cortisol is not good for you. So when you have the ability to laugh, see the sense of humor in the mistake as you're learning, it just puts a whole spin on your point of view. So I'm not advocating that people start to become little kids. But what I do invite you to do is really embrace humor in the way you want to embrace it, because it could really make a world of difference. This is when you could be your best when you feel your worst. This is when you have those days where you say, why am I an entrepreneur? I think I lost my mind. Why did I do this? You can see maybe the sense of humor in all of that. Humor has been my mental vitamin for years.
Mental vitamin. I love that. That's a great quote. Write that one down too, Donna. Put that in your bag. So what is your favorite quote and why is it your favorite quote?
Oh, well, I've got a lot, but I'll tell you in the time that we have left that, most of us spend the first part of our lives trying to fit in, and the rest of our lives trying to stand out. And the reason why that quote is so meaningful to me is that's what we face as business owners. How can we stand out authentically? A lot of folks stand out in the form of celebrity. I think the new trend, and the one that really hits my heart, stand out authentically. When you stand out authentically, then people see who you are and they say, I like it or I don't. Be who you are. And people hire you for you, not for who you pretend to be.
Right. Great advice. Donna, I can see that you bring your clients some practical, workable tools that help them grow their business. And I appreciate you being on the show today.
Thank you so much. I totally enjoyed it. And you're a wonderful interviewer. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you. Thank you for watching Business Notes. We've been speaking with Donna Lang, business growth strategist and mentor. I'm your host, Diane Bogino, bringing you business ideas you can bank on.